Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of my challenge story, my challenge 365-day my challenge, that I created to help share my story and use that pain to teach everyone show everyone what it looks like when you're struggling to survive and still have the strength to fight for healing. So this is a month 2. Again, I said I'm not going to really go into a huge intro because sorry, I'm just trying to get that right so that I can because I want to just kind of jump in. So we're going to start with a trigger warning. This episode contains detailed descriptions of domestic violence, child endangerment, forced sexual acts, emotional and physical abuse, and trauma involving a parent and an infant. These themes are discussed in personal and unfiltered way, in a personal and unfiltered way, including this depictions of assault and moments of extreme emotional vulnerability. The content may be highly triggering for survivors of abuse, sexual assault, or for those who have witnessed or experienced violence in the home. Please prioritize your mental health and emotional healing. Excuse me, and emotional healing while safe. While your emotional safety. I'm sorry, something just threw me off. While engaging, you're never required to sit through re-traumatizing material. So step away if you need to, and come back when you are grounded, or if you even want to, because some of these stories are really hard. So this is another time when I felt the most vulnerable. It was a time when I tried to fight back, but he still had the upper hand on me. I was a little over 18 years old, and I was closer to 19, and our son was still learning how to walk. I may have even been 19. He can crawl, but he couldn't really walk well. He was like scared, so he was holding on to things. You know how that was. He was about 6 months old because he started walking at 8 months. Like he was an early or a fast developed. He was talking, reading, writing, potty training. By the time he was completely done with everything, so at 6 months, he was moving around a lot. This is my older son. And he cried a lot because he had already been through a lot of trauma from before he was even born. He was born with eczema. He had a lot of discomfort. He couldn't scratch. He couldn't, and he had a lot of pain from pre-existing conditions, and he didn't know how to really regulate any of it. And my ex, his bio donor, he had a really short temper, especially with the crying. So he would try to toughen him up, like forcing him to stop being a baby. Seriously. And I was always the type to protect my kids, even as a teen, and that day he became aggressive. My baby was crying, he was crying, and he didn't feel well. He was sick. And my ex exploded. He jumped up and started screaming at my son, shut the fuck up. Like, dude, this is a 6-month-old baby. He doesn't even understand what you're saying. So he scared him. My son's jumping, he starts screaming even harder. And then he stood up like he was getting ready to go towards him and hit him. He's like, didn't I tell you to shut your ass up? You don't, you need to learn to listen. Okay, this is a literal infant. So I picked up my son and I turned my back and I'm telling him, like, what are you doing? He doesn't understand what's going on. He's, let's find out what's wrong with him. So he's screaming at me for getting in the way of him being a father. That's my son. That's my son. You don't tell me how to raise my kids. You don't tell me how to raise my son. And I'm like, well, this is my son too, and I'm not going to allow him to be abused. So I went outside. I took him outside, hoping that some fresh air would calm him down. And honestly, I knew that my ex was not going to go outside and try to fight me because he was not like that. He will run from anything that he knows that might come and attack or hurt him, but he has no problem with hurting other people. So I knew he wouldn't hurt us where people could see. And while we were sitting outside, I was kind of sitting in the grass, just rocking him. And my son fell asleep in my arms. So I laid him in the bed upstairs. We lived in a loft. So there's only one room upstairs, a bathroom, and then downstairs was the kitchen and the living room. And so I laid him upstairs, and then I went downstairs to start cooking dinner. When I came back downstairs to start cooking dinner, he was still mad. I thought he had calmed down. I thought me being outside for a while would calm him down, but he starts yelling at me again. You need to stay the fuck out of my way when it comes to me parenting my kids or my son. And I told him, please, come on now. If you don't stop yelling, you're going to wake up the baby before I can even finish what I'm saying. He just slaps me in my face really hard. I felt my lip bust. I just felt, blood coming out of my mouth, and my head hit the wall. I fell down on the ground, and when I'm on the ground, he starts stomping me over and over again with his boots, screaming, "You'll never stop me from being a father to my child." And I remember I just laid there. I didn't even make a sound. I just laid there, trying not to scream because I didn't want to wake up my son. So I just stayed quiet and I didn't move. And then he realized I wasn't moving. So I think he got scared. So he stopped. And he just like grabbed my face to check to see if I was alive because I'm bleeding out of my mouth. I'm now bleeding out of my nose. And I'm getting lumps on my head from him stomping me in my head with the boots and hitting my head on the ground. And that's when he started to apologize. And I'm just wanting him to stop. Just don't touch me, please, you know. But then instead of him respecting that I don't want him to touch me, he forced himself on me. And I didn't fight him. I couldn't. I just wanted to disappear. I was like, you know what, I'm done. Just do what you're gonna do and then just leave me alone. Because my whole thing was I just didn't want to wake up my son. He didn't feel well, you know, and again he was born small. He was really small and frail, but he was really smart and a beautiful baby. And I didn't want him to have to suffer from this man's ignorance and anger and his dominance. So I just allowed whatever happened to happen. So I'm going to identify the wound that I had in that moment. Something else broke inside of me, something deep inside of me, not just as a partner or a mother, but as a person. I didn't just feel afraid. I felt erased. I was really young, but I was doing everything I could to protect my baby. And for that, I got punished. I started to believe that standing up for my children would always bring pain, which, hey, I'm willing to do that, but that's what I felt would happen. And I believed that love had to come with punishment, that being a mother meant being hurt in silence. I didn't feel like a woman. I felt like a shield, a punching bag, like a body that was meant to absorb other people's rage. I thought maybe I talked too much, maybe I interfered. I started blaming myself for protecting my own child. I believed that lie that I provoked it, that I ruined things by defending my baby, and worse, I believed that staying quiet was the way I could stay alive. But I still defended my children. I just dealt with whatever he had to say or do after the fact. I will always defend my children. But I mean, you know, in that moment, I felt like he was going to kill me because I'm never going to just allow especially him, to rage out on my kids. So my reflection question to you: have you ever blamed yourself for someone else's violence? What lies did you absorb about love, safety, or motherhood in order to survive? So, you know, just ask yourself that question. And so the negative thoughts that I had in my head, the lie that I told myself was that love meant suffering. Standing up for my child and my children will always lead to punishment. And I was always prepared for that punishment. That I was too loud, too in the way. That I was the problem, not the violence. But the truth is, in the reframing thoughts, is I wasn't the weakness. I was stronger than he could ever be. I shielded my son. I stayed alive. I shielded my son multiple times. I stayed alive. I didn't fail. And my baby, I saved my baby from seeing his mother die. Unfortunately, I lost him. Oh, that hurt my heart. Um, so the affirmation I have from that is I am not to blame for the pain others cause. My protection is power. My silence doesn't define me. My survival does. Okay, so we're going to go to our mini coping session. And the coping tool that I'm going to share with you guys today is pressure release sequence. Today's grounding tool is a body-based regulation regulation tool that helps release stored tension from trauma held in the core, hands, and legs. So in the core, your hands, and your legs. So step one is to ball up your fists with purpose, like squeeze both hands into tight fists. Hold them, feel the pressure, and say to yourself, I held it all in, but I don't have to hold it in now. Now release them slowly and open your hands gently because you know it's tightened up and you know it's going to happen. Let that blood flow back in. Okay? Step two is the knee to chest rock. I'm not going to do this, but I can explain this to you. Sit or lie on your back and hug your knees to your chest as much as you can. You know, don't do anything your body won't allow you to. And rock from side to side, massaging your lower spine as you move. And during these movements, to slowly breathe and say, I am safe in my body. Repeat 5 slow rocks to each side. So 1, 2, 2. So basically 10 total, but 1 on each side. Then the third step is the leg shake out. So after you're done with the rock, the knee to chest rock, stand up and lightly bounce or shake your legs, or shake each leg, like shake it out, releasing any trapped energy. Let your arms hang, shaking out anywhere to relieve any tension, where the tension lives. And imagine yourself releasing your fear through your limbs. It's coming up through your arms, and releasing that hurt and trauma and pain through your legs. And this tool helps trauma survivors re-enter the body safely and discharge trapped survival responses without needing to verbalize that pain. So this tool, like any other tool, needs to be practiced on a regular basis for it to actually teach your body and your nervous system that this is what you're trying to do, and understand that this is how you're going to take that power and that energy back. So next is my 1 minute power empowerment challenge for you. Take a physical action today that reclaims your power from an abuser or past moments of helplessness. Rearrange your space, move the furniture in one room, clean out a drawer, or remove an object tied to pain. As you move each item away, say, I decide that what stays and what goes. This space is mine now. Reclaim your territory physically, mentally, and spiritually. Now, if you don't live anywhere where anything of theirs belong, just do it metaphorically, like this remote to my fan. Hey, um, doesn't decide, doesn't stay there. I decided it moves over there. However you got to do it, but that's what you could do today. Just rearrange your space and take that power back. Reclaim your territory. So today is a survivor spotlight time. Right now is the survivor. It's always a survivor spotlight every day, right? Today I want to honor a survivor who doesn't always get the praise she deserves. Me. I have a huge, huge issue with imposter syndrome, and I'm willing to and ready to uplift and point out the beauty in every person but myself. But I needed to understand that from the moment I was born, literally, I was fighting for my life. I died 3 times before I was 1 year old because I was in the hospital because of an accident. We'll just leave it at that for now. I am the product of generational trauma and violence, raised by a mother carrying the pain of her stolen childhood because my daddy was her abuser. Um, yes, my daddy was the one that took her innocence, 46 years older than her, and he did to her what my ex-husband tried to do to me. I endured abandonment, homelessness, abuse, and loss. I watched my son, I didn't watch, but I had to live with the loss of my son in 2017 and still found courage to rise. I've been stalked, silenced, battered, broken, and I still built something beautiful out of that rubble. I went back to college and not only earned a master's degree, but a bachelor's degree, but a master's degree, and I did it twice. So I went to school and got 2 separate degrees, bachelor's and master's, in all 4 different subjects. I didn't survive. I didn't just survive. I created a platform for survivors to speak. I created my podcast, Insights of a Survivor, and I launched summits and spaces to make sure that no one else felt alone in the way I once did. I'm still learning how to honor myself, and I'm still starting programs that helps others rise within themselves. And honestly, this shout out is hard, but I know that I deserve it. I say thank you to the version of me that didn't give up when it would have been easier to disappear. Thank you for staying. Thank you for loving even when love was used against you. Thank you for turning survival into purpose. I honor you, PJ. I honor me. So this episode was hard. It was really hard, but I know someone needed to hear it. And if that someone was you, please subscribe to Empowered Voices, Find the Strength in Survivors for daily challenges and truth you won't find anywhere else. Also, don't forget to tune into my show every Friday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Central Standard Time, Insights of a Survivor. That's my podcast where I share stories, or I have others share stories of healing, truth, and survival. Also, the last Saturday of each month, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, Raw and Real with my co-host, All Love, is a place where we do the same as Insights of a Survivor, but that one is a little more edgy. We that is unfiltered, even though mine is unfiltered, we dive in deep and we get to the nitty gritty of healing, pain, trauma, and overcoming and resilience. And every Sunday, 6 p.m., Please don't forget to tune in to Kiss Corner with my sister, Coach Kiss, my heart and my anchor. This woman is a beautiful, beautiful soul, and she loves to help inspire and uplift, and she uses that platform to do so. And all of this is to help everybody understand that your story doesn't end in pain, it begins in power. So tomorrow, I will see you again for another powerful story of healing. I love you all. Stay strong.
Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get